This is Andy Purewal for Boxing Social in association with Betfred. And for the first time in a while, I am joined by Tom Little. Tom, how are you doing?
Coming out of retirement, aren't I?
I'll be a question for later on, mate.
Not happening.
Do you miss it?
Terribly. Miss it badly. Miss boxing so badly. But I've been training people, which sort of scratches the itch a bit. Like, get the gloves on, have a bit of a play about with them. Sort of scratches the itch for me a little bit. I love boxing, but I just realised, like, I watched the fight back, my last fight back, and then, like, I just understand that I made the right choice. And there's so many positive things to come from, and I don't want to be that person in, oh, I'm back, I'm this, I'm that, I'm that. Like, when I say something, I generally mean it. And I didn't want to retire. It weren't I want to retire. I don't love boxing anymore because I'm never going to stop loving it. But I just know that the fights that I find myself in, I'm not there. Do you know what I mean? And it's just one of them. It's just catch-22. If I come back tomorrow being how I was 3 years ago, then I'll come back tomorrow. But that's not possible.
Are you saying that you've still got, obviously, a love for the sport? You'd love to return, but you maybe just not the same fighter you was. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly that. Like, I find myself doing stuff in the gym, like stuff that it just come down to it, and it weren't there. I was seeing things with Babbitt that I'd love to exploit, live to exploit, and just couldn't do it. Couldn't pull the trigger on it. And you hear that saying so many times, like, pull the trigger, and you always find yourself, what's he mean? Like, pull the trigger, and it's like you're seeing things a split second too late. Like, it's just such a heartbreaking, frustrating feeling being there. But, one of them.
I mean, somebody who is looking at making his ring return, somebody who you'd previously spoken about facing is Dave Allen, just kind of on his own return. What do you make of Dave deciding to do so?
Listen, it's each to their own, and I wish Dave all the best of luck. Like, me and him bant all the time and everything, and so it's just banter, isn't it? But if he feels like he's doing it and he's still got stuff to offer the sport, then yeah, come back and do it. Do it. I said to him, let's me and you come back and just punch lumps out one another. And he was like, no, I'm definitely not coming back. Like, I'm definitely not coming back. Well, I'll come down to the gym, he said, and we'll have a spar. I was like, yeah, deal. Like that. And then next thing I know, cheeky fuckers announced his comeback. I was like, you cheeky cunt.
Let's obviously move forwards or move backwards. Somebody you know well, a former campmate of yours, Jez Smith, fell short on Friday night against Kerman Leharaga, but certainly gave a valiant effort, a very good account of himself. What was your thoughts on Jez's defeat?
Do you know what? Jez Smith is someone that I relate to so much, with the nearly attempts and everything, and like the amount of heart he has. Like, a proper fighting man will fight anybody. On drop of a hat, will fight anybody. Needs saving from himself at times. That's why somebody like Josh around him is such a godsend, and I'm so happy that he's got Josh around him at the stage of his career he's at. But listen, I've been there as well with the Price thing with David Price. Like, a load of that, it shouldn't have got stopped when it did, and I feel for Jez. With Jez's situation, Jez was more on top of the fight than I was in my fight with David Price, having had his man down and everything out. And like, it's such a shame when you see fighters get done like that. Do you know what I mean? When they go in the away corner, they go over to their country, they give it all the opposition's own way, still looking to upset the cards, still able to upset the cards, and they get done like that. It's not what's saying. Listen, if I heard people saying that Jez was getting undone, for me, it looked like Jez was having a round off to try and recover himself, still a competitive round, getting caught with some shots, losing the round, but not a million miles out of the round, and just get stopped very, very prematurely by a ref. Listen, I got nothing to save myself from, so I can say it isn't what way I feel. It looked like a Spanish ref trying to save a Spanish fighter's record. Because when you look at it, if that guy lost to Jez, where does he go from there? Well, what does he do from there? Nothing at all against Jez. I think the absolute world of him. You know what I mean? But honestly and truthfully talking, like with where Jez has been, but that shouldn't come into it. Where is he going to go from here? Well, we're saying that, listen, that's nothing to do with the situation. Is what's right and what's wrong. And Jez was beating the fella. Jez was beating him. And listen, all as any fighter should have is a fair crack of the whip, and nobody can ask for more than that. And I feel like Jez didn't get a fair crack of the whip. And it's frustrating. It's frustrating to see, but especially when it's like I say, an old stable mate of mine, and like I see the work that Jez, Josh, Neon, Aaron, I see like the whole team. I see the work that all of them put in. But I'm still in that gym all the time. Like, ain't like I walked out of it and disappeared and never seen nothing of anybody. Like, I see the work that all of them go through, and for them to get done like that, it's just not good enough, if I'm honest with you.
Tom, I spoke to Jez a matter of hours ago, and don't get me wrong, he was frustrated by the stoppage, but I think the thing which frustrated him the most was on both occasions when he dropped Leharaga, the referee obviously took him back to the corner for spitting out his gum shield, and Jez raised that point, mate. He gave him the extra 20, 30 seconds to recover, and he felt that if the ref didn't give him that time, he could have pounced on Leharaga and looked to stop him. Do you feel that's probably the most frustrating thing for Jez from the night?
Yeah, to be honest with you, there's so many frustrating things, but it's just the little points like that which are going to scream out to Jez. Do you know what I mean? Like what? All right, you want to spit your gum shield out? Do you know what? Say to him, right? Or not say to him. Not say to him. Just like, don't spit it. If it's like it was a blatant, obvious spit out. Do you know what I mean? It was a blatant, obvious spit out. Warn him the first time. Second time, point. There you go. There's a point off. As far as that's concerned, the referee can't do much more than that. But he didn't do any of that. Do you know what I mean? He didn't do anything of the sort. So it just, and they can't. But listen, these are officiate, like, these are qualified referees. This ain't a man that's never refereed a fight in his life. He can't say he's never seen that before, or I've never heard of anybody splitting a gum shield out the by time. Do you know what I mean? So like, he should have picked up on stuff like that, and I can understand Jez's frustration. It's shocking, but listen, Jez will come again, and Jez has proved his value for money. But he should have proved his value for money looking at a European title fight or a life-changing fight next. Do you know what I mean? And nobody can say any other than this here. He got robbed of that. He got robbed of that, and should definitely either get a rematch or something else so not just another opportunity. Like, the financial reward should be raised. He shouldn't be going into a fight for the same financial reward as what it was against that fighter. Because trust me on this here, it's wouldn't be nowhere near my business to say it, but let me tell you something. Jez was taking a big gamble on that fight. That means Jez was taking a big gamble on that fight. So he needs some sort of reward from that. That'd be obviously down to his management team and the people around him to sit down and go through it with people and pull the promoters up when they come at him. Right, we got this opportunity, but because of the last fight, we can only offer you X amount. No, that's bullshit. Do you know what I mean? You see what happened. Let's have a bit of justice. Do you know what I mean? Give him some sort of justice of some sort. That's all I'm saying. Do you know what I mean? Don't just another opportunity be the fact like you're doing them, like they're doing you a favour by giving you another opportunity, because that ain't always right. Do you know what I mean? Like, obviously these promoters and that, they know how to work things. They know how to play on people's points. And I suppose with how the current situation is, it's a hard one, because where else are you going to get opportunities from? Because if it ain't with the TV promoters coming to you, then where else do you fight? You can't just disappear on some small shows somewhere.
Tom, the one, I suppose, minor positive on the night was there was a lot of praise directed towards Josh Burnham and the instructions he gave Jez throughout the fight, and the way that the tactics and the game plan was working up until that point. Just kind of your thoughts on Josh, somebody you previously worked with, and how nice was it for you to see so many people kind of giving him the credit, which I'm sure you feel he deserves?
Listen, that's 150 million% right. Josh deserves every bit of credit, and he's one of the people that one of the few people in boxing I'm so pleasured with that of made in the great. Listen, to me, Josh is family. He's trainer, friend, goes out the window. He's family to me. As long as I hold breath in my body, he'll have a bed in my home, or whatever goes without saying. But it's nice to see someone who loves the sport as much as when you know somebody like I know Josh, and I know how he loves the sport, and I know how it not seeks, but I know how much that acknowledgement I mean to him. His hard work and his sacrifice. Because let's not get this wrong. Josh has sacrificed a hell of a lot to go down this path with training fighters and everything. And I apologise to Josh because I felt like I should have given him more, even though he had me and Josh linked up at the twilight time of my boss. That's one thing I was so upset that I personally couldn't give Josh the best of me. But to see Josh getting some recognition and hopefully some good, hopefully now he can grab hold of he gets recognised on the platform where people will be looking to send their young talented prospects to him to help him build his name and build his profile, and it couldn't be for a nicer, more honest man. Like Josh is an honest person, honest man, honest as the day is long, and I've witnessed that myself with him. Like when I sit down, like I said, listen, it's done. It's done. He was the first person who said to me, Tom, do you know what? I think you're right. Not go away. Have yourself what's Sam. Don't say it out of temper. Like me and him both knew. Me and him both knew. And the sort of trust that's the sort of trust any fighter should be able to have in somebody that they entrust in their life with. And I couldn't say highly enough to any fighters looking for a good coach or anything. If not me, then go see Josh.
Tom, just moving forwards and on to this coming weekend, the big heavyweight fight between Derek Chisora and Joseph Parker. Your thoughts on it, Tom? How do you expect it to play out?
Expect it to be a cracking fight. I was talking about this here just before I left the gym earlier. When you think about it, like anybody's only as good as their last performance. Now you look at Derek's last performance coming off of a loss, but look how he performed in that loss. Would that performance be good enough to beat Joseph Parker's last performance? I believe, yeah. I believe, yeah. But then when you look on the other side, from Joseph Parker's performance, he's gone. He's changed his trainer. He's changed everything out. True boxing tacticians, proper boxing men that live, sleep, eat, breathe boxing. And when I say boxing, the finer art of boxing, and that's everything that Derek Chisora don't like. So it's a hard one to call, but I would have to favour Del Boy, but you can never count Joseph Parker out of the fight. Joseph Parker was one of them, as a betting man, you'd never ever bet against. Do you know what I mean? So, but listen, I'm gonna stay a true blue, and I'm gonna back Del Boy.
We know what Derek brings. He brings aggression. He brings that ferocious style and all action style with that. Do you expect him to stop Joseph? And having listened to you there, Tom, or, we know that he likes to throw as many punches as he can, just walking forwards. Do you expect him to stop Joseph if he's to be successful, or to go the distance?
I don't expect Derek to be looking for a points win, not one slightest bit. I expect Derek to come out and be as soon as Derek can tag on somebody. I expect Derek to be what Derek's been for his whole career, is an extremely volatile, aggressive human being, and I don't think Derek's ever went into a fight looking to go the distance. I really don't. I don't think he's ever thought himself, we're going to play touch, grab and hold and jab and nick a few points here, nick a few points there, still rounds. Do you know what I mean? I think Derek's coming to be Derek and absolutely release carnage, which is that's what the fans love about him. That's what everybody loves about him. So yeah. But the one thing I will say is, if Joseph Parker gets his boxing head together, and Bert was saying, I'll say, now, Derek ain't the hardest man to outbox. So it's a two-edged sword. It's what version of what fighter turns up the best on the night, which is the case in boxing, full stop, isn't it? But I don't know. I just listen, I think we're seeing a second summer for Derek lately, and I'd like him to get his big opportunity. I really would.
Tom, another fight which has been spoken about, is not confirmed or anything, but one which has been mentioned about at British level. Nathan Gorman versus Fabio Wardley. If Joe Joyce was to vacate that British title, your thoughts, Tom, if a pair of them were sharing?
No, I can't really comment on that. I can't comment on that. They're both me pals. They're both me mates. All I'd say is, listen, boys, touch gloves, bang out. Listen, that is such a good fight. It's such a good fight. Listen, you've got the young, fresh, unbeaten, don't know how to lose yet version of Fabio. You've got the old rise, so talented and capable, Nathan Gorman. The one thing is, Nathan would have took a lot out of Fabio's last fight, which he did do. Fabio done very well, done very, very well. But at that level, can be caught and can be hurt. So that's there what Nathan will be looking at, and Fabio will be looking at how fresh and how fast his hands is, and the eye catching shots, and he's also got that get out of jail card, hasn't he? That he's proved that he's got. So yeah. But as far as a prediction on that, I'm gonna sit my Harry's clean on that fence.
That's all good, Tom. That's all good. Just enough, I want to get your thoughts on whilst I've got you. Canelo Saunders, May 8th. How are you expecting it to play out, Tom? A lot of people see Canelo as a pound-for-pound star in boxing, but does Billy Joe possess the style, not only to overcome Canelo, but what many see him having his best chance would be via points?
Listen, providing Billy Joe gets a fair playing field out there, Billy Joe beats him. Providing Billy Joe gets a fair playing field. Now that there is so important in what I'm saying there, a fair playing field. Like the little mind games already trying to play. Listen, it's an uphill task. Nobody ever fights a pound for pound king and has a easy night. Nobody do. All right, but I can honestly tell you now, if there's a man born to beat Canelo at these weights, it is him. It is him. Listen, take the performances with the other southpaws, the other slick movers, out of the equation. Take him out of the equation. Because, one, Canelo's a completely different fighter now. Canelo's a completely different animal. So take them out. Don't even watch tapes on them. It's pointless. That's a waste of your night. That's a waste of your evening. But when you look at, listen, Billy Joe is a man that don't know how to be beat. He knows how to be awkward. He can punch you a bit, yeah? You only ever see the best of Billy Joe where you literally, he's got that bit of fear against him now. He's got that bit of fear against him. He's fighting the best in the world. He knows he can solidify his legacy forever. Forever. And that's what it's about for Billy Joe. Because trust me, he don't need money. I can honestly tell you that. He definitely don't need money. Definitely ain't short of a few quid. What else? With Billy Joe, the people go there getting beat before they've even stepped in a ring with him. Now, I'll invite you to do this here, and you'll laugh. Next time me and you speak, next time you're with Billy Joe, walk up some steps beside him and see if he'll let you get up there first before him. Like, that's how competitive he is. Right? The boy don't know how to lose. The boy don't accept losing full stop in anything. He's the most competitive human being I've ever met. Ever. So, listen, Canelo's not going to find a man in awe of him. He's not going to find a man that fears him, because that generally fear don't run in his body at all. Everything is there for Billy Joe to beat him, and saying, look, I'm going to show you a pattern that worked here from people that's come from the same cloth, right? Tyson went to Dusseldorf to fight 11-year reigning defending super champion in Klitschko. How many people gave him a hope there? Realistically, how many people gave Tyson a hope at that point of Tyson's career that he was in? Not many at all, apart from people from his own community. It's exactly the same pattern is unfolding here. Now, let me tell you something. Canelo is not a robot. He's not programmed. He don't not bleed. He don't not feel pain. He's not incapable of being outboxed. The one thing you can take from Canelo is what I'm saying. Canelo is unbelievable at what he does and how he does it. But he hasn't got the fastest feet in the world. Billy Joe got some of the best feet in boxing. It's just, if Billy Joe goes out there and bees the best Billy Joe that anyone's ever seen, Billy Joe wins this. I don't think Billy Joe stops him, but listen, this is providing he gets a fair playing field. And that's all anybody can ask. You know what I mean? But listen, if he goes out there and gets shafted, listen, the whole world will see it anyway. So I don't think he'll be worried about that. None.
Final thing, there's a lot of talk every minute about the undisputed bout between AJ and Fury, whether it will or will not happen. All indications are that it will be, most likely in Saudi, according to the reports and the rumours. Just kind of your thoughts, Tom. Do you expect to see it this year?
I expect to see it this year. I expect to see it summer. Expect to see it summer this year. Expect things to get tied up quite quick, if I'm honest with you now. And see a fight. Now they've got pretty much a destination and things that people are happy with. They just need to put an actual date and book it in the diary, don't they?
How big of a fight do you see as being, Tom? You know, not just during your lifetime, but certainly say over the history of the sport.
I think it's going to be the biggest heavyweight fight ever produced. Definitely. I don't know. I don't think anybody can tell me fighters with pedigrees, backgrounds, and everything that they both bring to the table. Listen, I'm not the biggest boxing historian. Probably Ben Doughty would be the man to ask this question to. But I've never heard of a fight of this magnitude of both champions bringing what they bring to the table, coming from the same country, But I just think it's the biggest heavyweight fight in boxing history, and they'll be meeting in both of their primes.
Tom, we will leave that there now, and I'll leave you to enjoy the rest of your day. I appreciate your time. It's good to catch up. I'll obviously catch up with you again soon. Thank you for speaking to Boxing Social.
Always a pleasure, never a chore.